Volume 60, My Little Brother. That's you, Kenson. So we're gonna be learning about these little boys in this story. So we have Luffy and Ace and Sabo, their friend, who they just kind of live out in the wild together. They live off the land, they go on adventures. And Oda put this nice little map here. So this is Windmill Village, where Luffy was born. But the rest of the island, there's Mount Corvo, Gray Terminal, Edgetown, Central Town, Highland, and Palace. So it's part of the kingdom. So they're in town one day and they find out that Sabo is not an orphan. He has parents. And it kind of makes me think of The Thief Lord. I don't know if you watched that as much as I did growing up, but about how there's this kid who's living on the streets, but turns out he has rich parents. They're stealing stuff. Luffy writes an IOU, IOU treasure. Sabo's dad tries to get him back. He is a terrible person. He sees people who are different than him as lesser. He doesn't even think they're human. Then the three boys, they decide they're all gonna go out on the sea one day. They all wanna be pirates. They all wanna be captains, so there's a conflict there of who's gonna actually be the captain. And then they make a pact together, they drink, and it says, if you exchange cups, it makes you brothers. Brothers, when we become pirates, we might not be on the same ship together, but the three of us will always be brothers. Starting today, we're brothers. Cute. And so the king doesn't seem very good either. They decide that they're gonna set fire to the trash palace. And Sabo's trying to warn his friends, and people are just going crazy. Oh, the fire's already going on. Ace and Luffy are trying to escape, but it's spreading like crazy. And then these pirates show up and they want their treasure. And of course, Luffy and Ace aren't backing down, but Ace tells him to run away. And Luffy gets hit around a little bit. And he says, "Don't you hurt Luffy." And so he protects his little brother. They think he's dead for a while, but then he returns with their foster mom. And they're all right. Oh, whoops. Luffy is so excited to see Ace again. Luffy, did you think I was dead? Then the celestial beings are visiting. And, oh, this is sweet. So Ace, why didn't you run away back there? Sometimes I get so angry and I feel like if I run away, I'll lose something I can never get back. And this time, Luffy was behind me. So he's already protecting his brother. And then we get a cut to Garp, and he says that Gold Roger was the same way, or Gold D Roger was the same way. Sabo goes out to sea, but he gets hit by those crazy people. And so they find a last letter from him. The ocean is vast and free. We'll meet again someday. The other thing, Ace, are you the oldest brother or am I? It might be weird to have two oldest brothers and one little brother, but the bond we share is the greatest treasure I have. Luffy is still weak and a crybaby to boot, but he's still our little brother. Take care of him. Oh, Luffy. So Luffy's very sad, and Ace is hitting him. But he tells him that he's gonna get stronger. He wants to learn how to use his gum powers to be strong. So they train lots and lots. He says, Ace, don't die, Ace. Remember this, Luffy, I'm not gonna die. Sabo told me to take care of you, I promise you. I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna leave my crybaby little brother behind. They decide they're gonna set out when they're 17. They train. They have their own countries. So they train and train. They fight bears. They fight people in town. And then when he's 17, Ace heads out. And Luffy trains for 3 more years. And then off he goes in this tiny little boat. Look at me, Sabo. I'm going out to sea too. Sabo was first. Ace was second. I ended up being third, but I'm not gonna lose to them. Goodbye, I'm off. I'm gonna be king of the pirates. So there he is. I'm gonna go back to the present, and Luffy just thinks he's so weak. He wants to be stronger to protect his brother. Then Garp shows up, and the foster mom beats up Garp and says, "How could you let this happen to the boys? Don't you know how much Luffy is suffering right now?" And then we get to see they made the tribute to Ace and Whitebeard. Jinbei is training Luffy now. He promised Ace that he would take care of him. And so Luffy's given up hope, but then he remembers. Try to remember what you still have. I have my crew. He has something to live for. He has people he needs to protect. So I want to see them. Now we're getting the gang back together. And then this guy shows up again. Raleigh. He swam here, apparently. And he's gonna help Luffy. So then we get cut to everybody. Usopp's getting attacked. And Chopper is making peace with the bird people. Oh, here's Mihawk without his hat. And, oh, he's talking to Zoro. So they're all learning about Ace's death, and they're all sad. They're like, we need to help Luffy. So they're all trying to get back together. Sanji is now with this guy, and Smoker's doing something. Oh, turns out that little Kobe apparently has some haki power. So we'll see what that leads to. And then at the very end, Luffy goes and he rings this bell 16 times. And apparently you only do this during the New Year, I think. Oh, it's moment of silence. The custom is to ring it just twice. He rang it 16 times. 16 rings for the new world. So it's him saying that a new era has begun. So it was Whitebeard, but now the crew all gets the message. They are waiting for him. Every hardened warrior who sets foot in the new world even once describes the first half of the Grand Line the same way. That part of the sea was paradise. So as crazy as this has all been, this was easy street. So now we're getting into some crazy, hard bad guys, I'm sure. Lots of battles. But first we gotta get the team back together.